Hello and welcome to Indo World Cup Daily. Well, it was a critical weekend in the recovery of Denise O'Sullivan and that shin injury she got last week. Dave Kelly is at the training ground in Brisbane. Dave, what is the latest on Denise's injury and her recovery?
Yes, here we are inside the scene of the crime as opposed to outside last Friday evening when we weren't allowed. Over there at the moment, the squad are gathering for a team photograph. A beautiful idea. They're wearing all their club jerseys, a bit like the Irish team did at the last Euro campaign. And Denise O'Sullivan, as you might be able to see in the distance, is there. She doesn't have her moon boot on. The expectation is that she will do a bit of running today. Nothing of any significant contact, but just to try and see how, in terms of the weekend of being in the moon boot, how the weight bearing goes in terms of doing a bit of light running, possibly strenuous running at some stage this evening as well. We won't see all of it. We only have the first 15 minutes. And then there will be a couple of occasions before Thursday to have contact sessions, and then we'll see how that goes. I mean, we spoke to Vera Pauw earlier, who indicated that her natural fitness and strength will be an asset in this regard. And she's saying there are strong hopes. They are very hopeful. And even a couple of the players we're speaking to, formally and informally, there seems to be that general buzz of, yeah, the anxiety is over, the stress is over. But obviously that doesn't presuppose that there could be some sort of setback if there is an issue when she starts running. But it did seem to be when we saw her earlier, even out of the moon boot in the hotel lobby, that there had been a wound, a superficial wound, so more of a kind of contact in the injury. So there you might see them all running off now back into the dressing room. They had their full team photo earlier, and then they're going to do their first 15 minutes of stretches and everything. So that's the good news, basically, as Vera Pauw confirmed this morning. It looks like she's on track. Denise O'Sullivan is on track, and they weren't even contemplating. They obviously have a plan B, but they're trying not to contemplate at the moment. They're working on the plan A.
Okay, well, that is good news. Over the weekend, Dave, a video emerged of that tackle on Denise, a lot of online commentary about it. And Vera Pauw was also asked why Ireland didn't release footage of the video to justify their decision to call off the game after 22, 23 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very if the game that never was or never finished was very fraught. The weekend became even more kind of oddly surreal. There was the kind of Denise O'Sullivan video which was released, which didn't really seem to serve any purpose. The footage that emerged from Colombia was taken at face value both in South America and in Europe, and predominantly, I think, in terms of what I was reading on my own timeline and responses, a lot of it was very pejorative and not very flattering towards the Irish team in terms of in isolation. That incident, which happened just over here, didn't seem sufficiently justified to call off a game. But obviously lots of other stuff happened, but we didn't see that. And that was our argument. If you show the rest of the footage or show a picture of the other really bad tackles, because this one didn't seem so bad. So we had to take the FBI in their faith. And, you know, historically, one doesn't like to take associations out their faith. So that was the kind of difficulty. And especially with a lot of malign comment about, you know, they're only girls and what a tackle, and a lot of kind of sexist stuff. But in the absence of any evidence, that kind of comment was always just going to flourish. And then it was compounded by the fact that there was an uncorroborated report that Siobhan Ahern, who is the sister of Ruisha Littlejohn, who works for Talk Radio, had referred apparently to a conversation she'd had with Ruisha, where Ruisha allegedly said it was an animalistic Colombian team. And that went all over South America. And then it was suddenly European racism and stereotypes. And it just kind of like was like a bushfire on Sunday. And you're trawling through the 10-second video like there's a Bruder tape, trying to see where the grassy knoll from whom the shot came. from the grassy knoll, etc., etc. And it was just a bit of a circus act, really. And the FBI didn't help themselves. They didn't help themselves. They didn't deal with the situation. Just stuck their hands in their ears. Didn't shut it down comprehensively. And by this morning, I mean, Vera Pauw claimed that she wasn't frustrated by any of the stuff. She didn't read any of the social media stuff. And there's an argument that, yeah, they're in Australia mode now. But, you know, it wasn't, if it wasn't a very pleasant episode to happen to them, and they had fear in their eyes, as you said about the players, and all that kind of stuff. Well, I think they could have justified their action because, you know, they got Jonathan Hill involved in Dublin. It was a big process. You don't just kind of call off a game like that. So, yeah, it was a bit of a messy affair. I wouldn't rank it in the top 20 sporting scandals of all time, or even the top 50. But it was just with a lot of the other stuff that's happened in this campaign with armbands and chants and, you know, the constant allegations and resurfaced allegations from Vera Pauw's time in Houston. It was just another crinkle, another crease in the story, which should be all about celebration looking ahead to Thursday in Homebush.
Okay, yeah, things just aren't as straightforward as, you know, as that, are they? You were over with the Australia team as well. What's the build up? What's the sense around them, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a bit more of a buzz. They just come from Melbourne and 50,000 people at the Marvel Stadium and beating France, who, of course, swatted away Ireland eventually last a couple of weeks ago in Thailand. They look really, really impressive. Just chatting briefly to Alana Kennedy, the veteran defender, who's just, you know, as cool as a cucumber, and like they did an extraordinary thing today. It should be on our socials now, with the Professional Association, the Footballers Association of Australia, just all about the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, and the fight for equal pay, and how they want to leave a legacy. So they're really, really conscious of how they are in synergy with the nation, and the nation getting behind them. And Claire Grant, who's slightly a younger partner, the younger partner in defence of Alana, was talking about like how the whole support of the nation. It's not a pressure for them. They're trying to use it as a kind of fuel, and it's binding them together and helping them as opposed to pressurizing them. So they look pretty composed. I mean, that team that we spoke about on Friday that started against France, I think that would probably be it. I spoke to Mark Schwarzer, the viewers might know from the Premier League, the ex-goalkeeper is doing a bit of work out here. He reckons there may be a change. Claire Polkingthorne may come in, slight experience in defence. Possibility, our good friend with the dad and granddad from Ballymun, Mary Fowler, may come in on the wing, but I think, and Mark thought as well, that just the two wingers, Russo and Vine, are so quick that they'll probably start. So yeah, I mean, the Australians, they have a good setup over there. I mean, you can't even get a glass of water here. Australians have a microwave and biscuits and coffee, which, you know, fuel when you're jumping from place to place to place. You know, you need to get fuel inside you, and yeah, they're looking very, you know, comfortable within themselves, you know. And the hope is probably that now, as we see the Irish kind of warming up and kicking a few balls, and Denise is doing a bit of, I think, keepy uppies by herself out there, yeah, which she could probably do all day. She's so good in the ball. The hope is now that Ireland can kind of, you know, set aside all that kind of stuff at the weekend. I don't think it affected the players that much, but that now that if they know Denise is in good fettle, they can plow on, because they're embracing this. Chatting to a few of them today, they're embracing the occasion. Like, this is their first World Cup. Do you want to play the hosts in front of 82,500 people on the opening night? Yes, bring it on. You know, that's their attitude, and that's kind of, you know, and they've risen to these challenges before. So yeah, they're I think I don't know, the fact that weirdly it's a Monday as well. It's almost like, yeah, start the week and let's rock on, let's roll into this. And so yeah, hopefully they have a good one out today. There's no more scares, because we've had our traditional World Cup scare. So let that be the last one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like just a few days to go now until that opener, David. I think just with everything going on now, I just think we need to get this World Cup started. I think we're all just kind of waiting for that now. So just remind us, like, what's the next 24 hours? What's it going to be like there for the players? And just remind us again of kind of just their schedule and what they'll be doing over the next while.
Yeah, well, basically they're going to head up to Sydney tomorrow, and then you're into you're a day out from the famous MD -1 match day -1. They don't train in the stadium on Wednesday night, but they'll have a walk around the ground, the Olympic Stadium, and see the dressing rooms and all that. So they'll have a sense of familiarization. But yeah, like this is just a match week, so they're professionals. They know how to do a match week, and okay, there's an internal flight up to Sydney, but that's just like going to an away game for them. So this is routine. They know how to do this. That's their job. So the focus the focus kind of seems to be there. So yeah, 3 days in counting. We were kind of half aching for, well, not something to happen, but we kind of sensed that Friday, Saturday of last week, things were dragging a little bit, but we could have done without that weekend of interference. But I think that's kind of calmed down now. And if Denise O'Sullivan is rocking after this session, I think it's all systems go.
Okay, that's great. Good news. Thanks, Dave. We talk to you tomorrow.
No problem, guys. Good luck.